There's a specific kind of exhaustion you carry, the kind that doesn't show up in your face or in your posture, but in the way you linger in your mind long after everyone else has moved on. You replay things, not because you want to, but because something in you refuses to let an interaction exist without examining it for danger. You walk away from a conversation and immediately dissect every word you said, every micro-expression you noticed, every possible interpretation of the other person's tone. You scan the memory as if you're looking for a hidden bomb you might have accidentally stepped on. And the wildest part, to everyone else, you seem normal, calm, collected, even socially competent, but inside, you're running a silent background audit at every moment. You wonder, did I talk too much? Did I overshare? Did they think I was rude? Should I have phrased that differently? What did they really mean when they said that? You catch yourself rewriting entire interactions, like a perfectionist editing a manuscript that no one will ever read. And here's the painful paradox. The same hyper-awareness that once kept you emotionally safe is now the very thing sabotaging your peace, your ability to predict other people's reactions, to micro-adjust your personality, to pre-manage conflict, to avoid stepping on invisible emotional landmines may have been necessary once. It protected you. It kept you close to people you didn't feel entirely safe with. It helped you survive dynamics where mistakes had consequences and where your feelings were rarely considered. But now, that same instinct has turned inward. It's no longer saving you, it's draining you. You've become the custodian of every sentence you've ever spoken, the archivist of every wrong look, the analyst of conversations that no one else even remembers. This is the secret life of the chronic overthinker. You're not dramatic, you're not weak, you're not too sensitive. You're simply someone who learned, a long time ago, that the cost of being misunderstood was too high. And even though you've grown, your nervous system hasn't gotten the memo. It still behaves like you're that child, that teen, that early version of you who had to be perfect or be punished. This video is not about thinking too much. It's about why your mind refuses to rest and why every interaction feels like a test you can't fail. Let's break down the psychology of chronic interpersonal overthinking, not as a quirky personality trait, but as a deep-rooted neuropsychological pattern. Term number 1, hypervigilance. Is not just about being alert. It is the nervous system living in a state of anticipatory threat. When you overthink social interactions, your brain isn't analyzing for fun, it's scanning for danger, for signs someone is upset, for signs you said the wrong thing, for signs the relationship is shifting. This happens because your amygdala, the brain's threat center, learned long ago that conflict or missteps weren't no big deal. They were consequences. They were emotional withdrawal. They were unpredictable reactions. They were chaos. And so your nervous system became a surveillance system. Term number A, rejection sensitivity dysphoria, RSD. While often discussed in ADHD research, RSD is more universal than people think. It's the extreme emotional discomfort caused by the possibility of being rejected, criticized, or misunderstood. An overthinker with RSD doesn't need actual rejection to feel pain. The attempt to avoid rejection is already excruciating. You aren't afraid of people, you're afraid of disappointing them. Term number 3, the default mode network, DMN. The DMN is the brain network responsible for self-referential thoughts, the inner monologue, the reflective voice, the mental replay. Studies show that people who grew up in unpredictable or critical environments often have overactive DMNs, meaning your brain is literally wired to revisit and reinterpret past interactions, not because you're flawed, but because your mind was shaped to anticipate emotional shifts before they happen. Term number 4, attachment trauma. Is often a symptom of inconsistent caregiving moments, where you couldn't fully predict the emotional weather of the people around you. If affection one day turned to irritation the next, if approval was tied to performance, if your feelings were dismissed or minimized, your brain learned the survival skill of mental pre-correction. You learned to manage people's reactions before they happened. So now, as an adult, your mind tries to save you from every possible negative response, even ones that don't exist. This is not overthinking. This is anticipatory a trauma-shaped operating system designed to minimize emotional risk. The real cost of overthinking isn't the time you lose, it's the parts of yourself you lose. Because every time you second-guess your words, you shrink. Every time you rewrite your truth, you sacrifice authenticity. Every time you replay a harmless conversation, you reinforce an invisible belief. I am dangerous unless monitored. This is the emotional debt of overthinking, an internalized fear that your raw, unfiltered self is risky. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life, and you will call it fate." And that is exactly what chronic overthinking is. The unconscious fear of relational consequences, masquerading as harmless analysis. The invisible grief of not trusting your instincts, not relaxing into relationships, not feeling ease around people you care about, not speaking without rehearsing, not resting without replaying. You pay for it in burnt-out mornings and sleepless nights, in friendships where you always feel like you're one mistake away from being discarded, in relationships where you're more focused on managing your partner's perception than expressing your own needs. The core fear at the heart of overthinking lies one silent terror. Will I still be loved if I stop managing myself? This fear turns small moments into complex calculations. It makes a simple text take 20 minutes to send. It makes a neutral comment feel like a hidden critique. It makes the absence of reassurance feel like rejection. You're not analyzing interactions, you're protecting yourself from consequences that no longer exist, but once did. When a child learns that emotional safety depends on constant self-monitoring, they become adults who 1. Apologize for things no one noticed. You say sorry out of reflex, not remorse. 2. Rehearse future conversations in full, dramatic detail. You plan responses to conflicts that haven't even happened. 3. Ask for reassurance in subtle, indirect ways. Hey, was that okay? Hidden inside casual comments. Hey, did I upset you? Disguised as a joke. 4. Over-explain yourself to prevent misinterpretation. Your explanations become essays. Your sentences come with disclaimers. You never let your words stand alone. 5. Feel guilty for simply existing. You interpret neutral reactions as personal failures. 6. Read tone like a forensic scientist. A delayed reply becomes a narrative. A short message becomes a verdict. A slightly different tone becomes a threat. 7. Replay harmless interactions for hours or days. The mind becomes a looping tape of imagined mistakes. 8. Become easy to be around, but hard to truly know. You appear low maintenance, emotionally intelligent, and considerate, but internally you are managing everything. And here's the truth. No one tells overthinkers these behaviors are protective adaptations, not personality traits. Overthinking is a coping strategy, a way to pre-correct the world, so you never have to feel the pain you once felt. But to heal, you have to learn a radical, uncomfortable skill. Witness your mind without obeying it. Noticing your pattern without judging it. Seeing your fear without becoming it. Understanding your past without gaslighting your present. Unlearning isn't about thinking less. It's about trusting more. Healing from chronic overthinking begins with one transformative realization. Your thoughts are protective, not prophetic. They tell you where you've been, not where you're going. Practical pathways to healing. 1. Inner child reparenting. Speak to the part of you that still believes mistakes equal danger. Tell them, you don't have to defend yourself anymore. You're safe now. 2. Nervous system regulation. Breathing practices, grounding exercises, and somatic work help teach your body that not every interaction is a battlefield. 3. Reframing the intrusive thought loop. Instead of asking, "What did I do wrong?" ask, "Why does this moment feel threatening to the old version of me?" For radical permission to be misunderstood. The fear of being misunderstood is what fuels constant mental edits. But truth doesn't need perfection, it needs presence. 5. Shadow work. Face the parts of you that are terrified of conflict, rejection, or disappointment. These shadows hold the key to your freedom. 6. Choosing softness over control. Softness doesn't mean weakness. It means trusting that you don't have to pre-manage every emotional possibility. A final thought. The philosopher Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And while it's true, it's not because you're weak. It's because your imagination was trained to anticipate danger long before you had the chance to feel safe. But now, you are allowed to update your internal world. You are allowed to let interactions end when they end. You are allowed to speak without rehearsing. You are allowed to exist without analyzing your existence. Because your worth is not determined by your performance. Your value is not negotiated through perfection. And your relationships do not require self-surveillance to survive. You are not here to be flawless. You are here to be whole. If this video helped you understand yourself on a deeper level, consider subscribing or sharing, not because you owe me anything, but because somewhere out there is someone who thinks they're broken, when really, they're just tired of surviving in a world they're finally allowed to rest in. You are safe now. Your mind can take a breath. You can stay.